clap your hands, and stomp your feet and sing it. We about to roll. Sing it. I don't know what you've been told, but football.
The weekend starts now. It's a classic, all right. It's the Cowboys and Vikings on Thursday night, so let's go, 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 go.
Time to get it started tonight. The NFL will get you crazy and wild. You know it's going down. This is how we do it now. I'm and Chris will show you how to go, 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 go. Come on.
It is the first night of December and the start of week 13 of the NFL season, beginning here in the upper Midwest at the league's newest facility, U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Well, last night, Vikings coach Mike Zimmer had emergency eye surgery. And so, at least for tonight, special teams coach Mike Prefer will take the reins of the Vikings, who are set to face the super rookie, Dak Prescott, and the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris. On almost perfectly, thanks mainly to the rookies Prescott and Zeke Elliott. And right now this team has won 10 straight, 10-1. The Super Bowl this season will be played in Houston, and the road to that Super Bowl might very well be going through Dallas. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, their season also started with a nightmare beginning. Teddy Bridgewater, their quarterback, was hurt, knee injury in preseason, and he gone for the year. Thus, they had to trade for Sam Bradford from Philadelphia. He comes in. They got off to a great start. They were 5-0, but now they have hit the skids. They have lost 5 of their last 6. They have to go to their bench, in essence, for a head coach tonight, and their season is on the brink. And, Chris, this is something you almost never see, an interim emergency head coach.
It's very strange. And Mike Zimmer is the defensive play caller as well. And George Edwards is the defensive coordinator. He certainly called plays before, but not on 24 hours notice. That's going to be tough.
Well, that Viking defense has been more than fine, but they can't score it. How are they going to put up enough points tonight?
You know, protection is offense, but for the Cowboys on defense, they haven't been able to get much pressure either. So maybe Sam Bradford gets a little more time to throw the ball here tonight.
Cowboys, of course, 10-1. This has been a magic carpet ride. So get out the crystal ball. Don't necessarily make a prediction, but what do you see down the future for this team?
Well, let's just say it has been stunning to watch the Cowboys so far this year. Are they ready to win a Super Bowl? That seems to be the question. Well, this environment out here tonight is going to be a heck of a test for these rookies, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott.
These two teams have played some memorable games in the past. It's the Vikings and the Cowboys. What happens tonight on Thursday Night Football?
NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And this is Thursday Night Football presented by Bud Light, and we go to the field and Heather Cox. Heather.
Hello, Al. Well, Coach Zimmer was originally scheduled for detached retina surgery on his right eye at 6 a.m. tomorrow. But as he was driving home last night, his vision suddenly got worse, and it was determined it couldn't wait. He'd have to have surgery immediately. That happened at 8 o'clock last night. Now, after a follow-up appointment this morning, Zimmer came to the Vikings facility to address the team. Now he's resting at home. So Zimmer's undergone 2 previous eye surgeries within the last month. So he met with general manager Rick Spielman a few weeks ago to prepare for this potential scenario. So here's the plan that they put together for tonight. Interim offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur continues as the play caller, as he's been doing for the past 4 weeks. Defensive coordinator George special teams coach Mike Prefer would be the best choice for interim head coach because he's been involved with both the offense and the defense as part of his regular duties. And in addition to running the special teams, he will assume all game management decisions tonight, Al.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Meanwhile, there is Adam Zimmer, Mike's son. He's been an assistant coach in the league for 11 years and clearly thinking about Dad, as we all are, wishing Mike a full and speedy recovery. Jason Garrett took over in the middle of the 2010 season. Only Tom Landry, who was there for 29 years, the first 29, has coached the Cowboys longer than has Jason Garrett. So the 10-1 team against the 6-5 team before what will be a raucous crowd at a beautiful new $1.1 billion facility. And off we go week 13 with the Cowboys to get the ball. And this is Lucky Whitehead taking it from the goal line. Back out to the 22-yard line. Minnesota had won the toss. They defer. And here comes Mr. Prescott, Mr. Dak Prescott. 4th round draft choice as we meet the Dallas starters.
Dak Prescott, Mississippi State.
Ezekiel Elliott, the Ohio State.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State. Terrence Williams, Baylor.
Cole Beasley, SMU.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Tyron Smith, USC. Ronald Leary, University of Memphis.
Travis Frederick, Wisconsin.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
Generally regarded as the best offensive line in football. They've got the league's leading rusher to pave the way. And they do just that. And there goes that league's leading rusher for an 11-yard gain as Elliott, the rookie out of Ohio State, he says, keep feeding me. And they've been doing that all season long.
Sometimes I feel like I can circle any of them, but watch Zach Martin on this play just get up on the linebacker and take him back a good 10 yards. It seems like we have seen so many of those runs from Ezekiel Elliott where he's 7, 8, 9 yards down the field without being touched.
And he splits out here, so they go 5 wide. They send him all the way to the left. He's a very decent receiver. Now you've got action on the left side of the line. That's something that you're going to see more than once tonight.
5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Tony Correnti, the penalty is on Tyron Smith, the left tackle, who's picked up a bunch from this year. And, of course, the crowd here will have a lot to do with that all night long. Take a look at those numbers. 18 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. 4th highest rating in the league. Completes more than 2 out of every 3. He looks like a 10-year veteran.
Very patient young quarterback. More than happy to take the checkdowns, more than happy to hand it off.
On 1st and 15, nice clean pocket, and the pass is caught by Dez Bryant up at the 34-yard line. Xavier Rhodes will be matched up on Bryant a lot tonight, makes the tackle.
This is the marquee matchup of this game right here. Dez Bryant going against Xavier Rhodes, the best against the best. And so many times when you watch Dak Prescott throw the ball to Dez Bryant, you'll see it from the neck up. He is just a powerful rebounder, Dez Bryant, going up for the football. And that's where they like to play.
That was a gain of 7. It's 2nd down and 8. And they feed Elliott again, and he gets taken down. That's Sendejo, the safety, coming around, taking him down by the ankle. And we take a look at the Viking starters.
Brian Robinson, University of Texas.
Shamar Stephen, UConn.
Naval Joseph, East Carolina.
Emerson Griffin, USC. Chad Greenway, University of Iowa.
Eric Hendricks, UCLA Bruins. Anthony Barr, University of California, Los Angeles.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State. Andrew Sendejo, Rice University.
Harrison Smith, Notre Dame.
Xavier Rhodes, FSU.
Terrence Newman, longtime Cowboy, now 38 years old. Back in the lineup, missing last week. Under pressure, Prescott throws, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Cole Beasley, who has been the Cowboys' #1 receiver this season. Brian Robinson put the pressure on Prescott that time, and Dallas forced the punt.
Yeah, and that is a dream scenario there for the Minnesota Vikings. This offense of the Cowboys has been so hot, and to come out on the first series and make a stand, now you let the crowd get into the ball game.
Chris Jones, the Dallas punter, and the left footer will send one down to the 13-yard line, and backing up is Adam Thielen taking it there. And excellent coverage by the Dallas unit. So Bradford and mates go to work when we come back. Pieces of art, all done by Minnesota artists. It's on display throughout this facility, which has its inaugural this season, and then next year it will end the season with the Super Bowl. Tony Romo in the role of backup quarterback, going over things on the bench with Prescott as Sam Bradford lines up in the shotgun for Minnesota's first play, and Matt Asiata will take it for a gain of about 6. Sam Bradford was going to be the Philadelphia starting quarterback this year. Instead, he winds up here in a trade for first and fourth round draft choices after the injury to Bridgewater. He made his Viking debut in a Sunday night game week 2 and looked great. That was his best game of the season against the Green Bay Packers. But that offensive line has been a mess this season. Those guys need name tags. They've got 11 different guys up front, and that's been the issue. Can they protect him? You got Patterson in the backfield flanking him right now. They flare him out. Bradford fires over the middle, and that's caught at the 25-yard line. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, for a Viking first down.
Well, one thing you'll notice from Sam Bradford is because of some of these issues with the offensive line, he is not going to hold this football. He's going to get it out quickly. We just saw the Kansas City Chiefs this past week as well, and Alex Smith is noted as one of the quickest of all time. Well, this is appreciably quicker than that. It's almost as fast release time as I've seen in my days watching the National Football League.
A lot of dink and dunk along the way. And from the 25 on first down, it's a great tackle. That is Damian Wilson, number 57, who penetrates and then pushes Matt Asiata back. That'll be a loss of 2, and it'll be second down and 12.
Well, one of the guys we talked about that defensively, this is a team that just works hard on fundamentals all the time. And when we talked with Jason Garrett, one of the names that he brought up is a guy that has improved the most over the course of this season. Damian Wilson made the play there.
Second and 11. And you got a whistle here. Tony Corrente throwing the flag. TJ Clemmings.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. It will remain second down.
Well, that's the left tackle. The Vikings last year, Chris, they had all 5 guys start every game. This year, the complete opposite.
It's amazing when you look at the list. 11 different starters and 3 different starters at each tackle position. I've never even heard of anything like that. And TJ Clemmings, God bless him, he's over there fighting the best he can at that left tackle position, but by no means is it his natural position.
Tony Sperano, the former Miami head coach, and he's the offensive line coach. They've got Pat Shurmur. He was a former head coach, but Prefer's in that role tonight, and Bradford throws and the pass is incomplete. The pressure was put on that time by the Dallas defensive lineman DeMarcus Lawrence, forcing the incompletion. It'll be third down and 16.
Well, DeMarcus Lawrence coming back, and he is going to be licking his chops tonight. You can see they are in position to chip on the outside, and they're going to have to do that. Clemmings has had an extremely rough year in pass protection. He's a big physical guy in the run game, but anytime you lose as many tackles as they have, you're going to end up with something other than the optimum playing out there at this point.
Third and 16 now. Bradford deep in the pocket, throws and finds his man Adam Thielen up at the 42-yard line for a first down. Thielen has become one of his go-to guys. That's his 46th catch of the season.
Just the trademark cover 2 defense coming in here, but for Adam Thielen, he has been one of those guys that has really stepped up for the Minnesota Vikings this season.
He's a Minnesotan through and through, raised here, went to Mankato State, having a real good year. And Bradford's going to launch one deep down the sideline, and that is a flag. The catch by Cordero Patterson at the 27 is good. Anthony Brown, the rookie corner who was burned on Thanksgiving a lot against Washington, but it's going to be an offensive pass interference call to bring it back. So they call it on the Vikings.
Pass interference, offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, and repeat, first down.
Cordero Patterson here, you're going to see this throughout the course of the night. Look how close to the sideline he is. Really gave his quarterback Bradford no time to throw the ball at all. Let's see if there's a push. A little shove right there. Probably the right call. And for first-time head coach Mike Prefer, you would like to have had that one. But they will be going after number 30, Anthony Brown, much of the night. He has been thrown at now 20 times in the last 2 games, most in the National Football League, the most targets against any corner.
They go 4 wide here, keep Rudolph in at tight end on a 1st and 20, and this is a short pass, and this time it is Patterson taking it to the 38. Let's take a look at the Minnesota starters.
Sam Bradford, Oklahoma.
Jared McKinnon, Georgia Southern.
Stephon Diggs, University of Maryland.
Adam Thielen, Minnesota State Mankato.
Kyle Rudolph, Notre Dame.
Rhett Ellison, SC.
TJ Clemmings, Pittsburgh.
Alex Boone, offensive line performance.
Nick Easton, Harvard University.
Brandon Fusco, Slippery Rock.
Jeremiah Searles, Nebraska.
Easton taking the spot normally occupied by Joe Berger, who had played every snap this season until last week when he got hurt, and he's out tonight. And this is McKinnon up to the 40. Remember, Adrian Peterson had gotten hurt in week 2, torn meniscus on the men. He started to run again. There he is, AP on the sideline, and he hopes to get back before the end of the season. So here we are, week 13, and it'll be obviously a very good thing if he can get back into that lineup.
Well, but remember, their struggles running the football were even with Adrian Peterson. He averaged 1.6 yards per carry, so now they're up to about 3 yards per carry. It has not been good all season.
Yeah, right now they're last in the league in rushing. They're last in the league in total offense. They have a 3rd down and 12 here from the 40-yard line. 5-man rush, and dumps it off underneath to Rudolph, and he gets taken down by Jones there on the outside, and it will be 4th down.
Well, anytime Sean Lee blitzes and you don't make a big play, that's a loss for the offense right there. They're going to send Sean Lee, which is going to isolate here TJ Clemmings on the outside against DeMarcus Lawrence. Exactly what you want, and yet it is McKinnon stepping up and making that block, and TJ Clemmings got his, and they still didn't get much out of it.
Punter is Jeff Locke. Lucky Whitehead standing back at the Dallas 15-yard line. And Whitehead collects it at the 14. Little spin move, another spin move. Can he get free? Nope. A lot of action for 1-yard net on the return. With a little less than 7 to go inside Club Purple at US Bank Stadium. 66,000. We'll expand it a little bit. Maybe 4,000 or 5,000 extra seats will be put in for next year's Super Bowl. From the 15, this drive starts with Prescott, the 4th-round draft choice out of Mississippi State. Crowd in full throat. Fake the draw. Prescott going deep down the right sideline and throws that into the Vikings bench. Harrison Smith put the pressure on. Let's take a look at the November NFL leaders, and you have the 2 rookies. The passer rating is sensational. 400 rushing yards for Ezekiel Elliott. So Elliott was the 1st-round pick. He was the 4th overall choice in the draft behind 2 quarterbacks and a defensive end. Dallas had a lot of ways to go in the draft, but it looks like they've hit the lottery with this kid. On 2nd and 10, Elliott swinging to the outside and running out of room, and turns it back for a yard. The ball is out at the 21-yard line, and the Vikings have it. Elliott had fumbled a couple of times earlier in the season. Is blaming himself here. Garrett waiting for the replay. Obviously, every turnover gets reviewed here. You got Linval Joseph is in there.
Anthony Barr is the one that stripped the football out, and fumbling was an issue for Ezekiel Elliott early in the year. He had settled that, but Anthony Barr just ripped it out.
2 fumbles in September, one against the the Browns, it looks like Elliott almost got the ball back. No, and there's Barr coming up with it along with Joseph. And they review it. If it stands, ball will be at the 14-yard line.
You know, these are the kinds of mistakes the Cowboys have not been making this season. Only 7 giveaways on the year with 2 rookies.
Previous play will go under review.
So it is under review. Elliott for the moment back to the bench. Verdict when we come back. Still under review. We're taking a look at this. The question is, was Elliott down with possession of the ball before it was extracted by Barr? So he fumbles clearly. You've got Joseph on top of him. There he is down on the ground. He has it. And then Barr will come in and he will pull it out. He'll yank it out. And then Barr will take possession. It was ruled a fumble, but we think this is going to get overturned.
Yeah, it's interesting. Once he's obviously down at this point, so if at any point he controls the ball, which I think you can argue right there, and you can still see the ball, and now you get Barr coming in there to dig it out. I think it's going to be going back to Dallas, and so do the players on the field.
Right, because the Dallas offense and the Viking defense have already come out, and that's a pretty good indication.
Yeah, there's some insider trading going on.
Yes,
here.
there is. Here comes Tony Correnti under the auspices of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
After reviewing the play, the ball on the ground was recovered by a Dallas player and then taken away by a Minnesota player. It will be Dallas's ball, 3rd down and 10 at the 15-yard line. The game clock operators start the game clock on my signal.
So they get it back, of course, to the consternation of this crowd. Things don't go Prefer's way or the Vikings way, and it makes it 3rd down and 10 at the 15-yard line. The Vikings have 7 guys up front. Send a blitz here, and then Elliott gets taken down to the line of scrimmage by Eric Kendricks. The middle linebacker, it'll be 4th down, and Dallas will punt for the 2nd time.
You'll see this a lot, this so-called double-A blitz, but now watch at the tail end of this thing. You're going to see Eric Kendricks, who made some spectacular plays on 3rd down in their last game, comes out and easily makes that one.
Jones to punt. Chris's first boot was 55 yards. Cordero Patterson, always a threat to break one. Back to receive the kick. It's a wobbly kick. It bounds at the 40 and then skids out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. 5:45 to go in the quarter. No score. 48-yard kick. This week, players around the league are supporting the causes they care about with cleats, proudly displaying the charitable causes they champion, wearing them on their game day cleats. You can discover more of the personal tributes at NFL.com/mycause.mycleats. And some of those that are on display tonight, very, very creative.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is really a great idea to allow these guys to express some of their concerns on their cleats. I think that's a terrific idea.
From the 37-yard line now, Minnesota begins its 2nd drive. Bradford out of the pocket, throws, and he completes that pass for a 1st down to Kyle Rudolph. His 2nd grab of the night. Byron Jones, 2nd-year man out of Connecticut, the #1 pick last year, makes the stop.
They're going to send one tight end there and one tight end there and run this bootleg across the way. And they had a little bit of success running the football. It's always hard to run those bootlegs unless you can come out and run it a bit. But so far, we're seeing the Minnesota Vikings early in this game come out and throw the ball around a little bit. They completed 2 passes beyond 20 yards to start it. One of them got called back, but opening up with this offense.
No dink and dunk, at least to this point tonight. Pass to the outside. Thielen, he breaks the tackle, and he'll pick up a 1st down. Got away from Sean Lee on the outside. Adam Thielen for a gain there of 16.
I don't know if anybody could have foreseen Thielen becoming quite the threat that he has so far this season, approaching 50 completions for him tonight. But maybe more impressive is that he's been a bit of a deep threat, and his ability to make a little run after the catch He's done some good things. The other one that they've really incorporated a lot more is Cordero Patterson in this offense. It's been one of the changes really since we've seen once Norv retired, I guess.
Yeah. Handoff goes to McKinnon. 32-yard line. Let's take a look at the Dallas defense.
Tyrone Crawford, Catholic Central High School.
Malik Collins, Nebraska.
Terrell McClain, South Florida.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Boise State.
Damian Wilson, Minnesota.
Anthony Hitchens, Iowa.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
Brandon Carr, Grand Valley State.
Barry Church, Toledo.
Byron Jones, UConn.
Anthony Brown, Purdue University.
And therein lies the question, in all probability, as to what the Cowboys will do down the stretch here. How good can that defense be? 2nd down and 7. And from the 28-yard line, the pass is caught, and then backing his way for maybe a first down is Stephon Diggs. Missed last week's game. Byron Jones makes the tackle. Very close to a first down. Appears to be a little bit short. 3rd down.
One of the things I love is when a team blitzes this way, throw it right back at them. Here comes the blitz off the slot. And Sam Bradford said, okay, fine, you're going to blitz over there. I'm going to throw it right behind the blitzer. And ended up with his 3rd short.
3rd and 1. Cowboys blitz less than any team in the league apart from the Bears. And running into a stone wall, but then spinning away is Zach Line, but there is a flag. So Line was stopped. Then he gets a first down, but here's Corrente to tell us the rest of the story.
Holding, offense number 76, 10-yard penalty, and repeat 3rd down.
Left guard, former 49er Alex Boone.
Here we go. Alex Boone's right there. And it looks like Terrell McClain that he sort of had wrapped around the neck there. That takes back a heck of a run there by Zach Line. Zach Line, for a fullback, he had over 4,000 yards at SMU. And now more of the designated blocker.
Yeah, you take a look at SMU, the history of SMU. Eric Dickerson is #1 in rushing, and this guy's #2.
It's not bad. That's not a bad second.
Right. 3rd and 10. Play clock at 3. Cowboys put the pressure on again, and the pass is incomplete. Good coverage there. Rudolph covered by Sean Lee on the outside, so the Vikings can now attempt to take the lead on a field goal, and they've changed field goal kickers because it was getting painful. Kai Forbath comes in. Blair Walsh had been their kicker, and well, you all know about the playoff game last year at Seattle. Won 10-9, having his problems this year. So they go to the outside and bring in Forbath, who will try to give them the lead on a 48-yard attempt.
Been perfect so far.
His UCLA teammate Jeff Lott to hold it, and the kick by Forbath is good.
They celebrate field goals around
here. That's a big deal. Minnesota 3 and Dallas nothing. Beautiful shot. Mississippi River flowing through Minneapolis, Twin Cities, and a look into this stadium, US Bank Stadium. The transparent roof. They play a day game here in September, October. It looks like they're outside. Here's Lance Dunbar to run it back, and Dunbar takes it to the 22, and we go to Heather Cox.
Well, you guys were talking about my cause, my cleats. The players I talked to love the kicks they're wearing tonight. Dak Prescott's cleats support the American Cancer Society with the letters MOM in honor of his mom, Peggy, who passed away after a fight with colon cancer. And Kyle Rudolph's cleats support the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital, specifically a little boy named Anton, who passed away almost a year ago, Al.
Yeah, it's a great tribute. Good idea. First time that the league has done that. Sure, it won't be the last. Ball at the 22. 3rd drive of the night for the Dallas Cowboys. Starts with an Elliott run. Patient runner. Powerful, patient. He's got everything. Up to the 26. And there is the man calling the defensive signals tonight, George Edwards.
Yeah, and he's no stranger to doing this. He's been a defensive coordinator with the Vikings, with the Bills, and with the Redskins. And it was so interesting talking with Mike Zimmer, saying that basically a spider web sort of formed over his eye, and trying to describe that whole thing. And then it turned into that emergency procedure last night, and everything changed within 24 hours how they were going to operate this game.
Heather mentioned at the top they were going to have the surgery tomorrow morning, but they couldn't wait. And there's a big hole for Elliott. He'll pick up the first down. I know that the medical people told Mike Zimmer not to watch the game, so our understanding he's probably listening to it, checking it out maybe on Twitter or whatever. So again, our very best to Mike for full and speedy recovery.
One of the really good guys, and here's one of the really good centers in the game. Anytime you can see a guy make that reach block right there and turn the shoulders so that they get a nice running alley, you know you've got an outstanding player. That's a big time play from Travis Frederick.
Little over a minute to go in the opening quarter on a first down here off play action, and the pass is caught, and that's going to be very close to a first down. Cole Beasley having a sensational year. He's been around for a while, 5th year, played his college ball right there in the Metroplex at SMU, and he's become the #1 target for the rookie Prescott.
And I think one of the things that has been such a difference for this Cowboys offense is just the mobility of Dak Prescott. When you have the #1 rusher in the NFL going one direction and a mobile quarterback going the other direction, it makes it very difficult to play defense. And Dak Prescott has been making teams pay on the edge all year.
Now Elliott to the outside, cuts it back upfield into Viking territory, inside the 20 and dragged down at the 14-yard line, but there's a flag down. Gavin Escobar, the tight end, threw a really good block, but everybody is coming back once they started. That would be a 42-yard gain but.
Holding, offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's the right tackle, Doug Free.
Boy, that hurts. You're on the back side of the play. They're going to pull both guards that way. And on the very back side, trying to cut off the linebacker, they end up getting a hold. I don't know, Al. I'm sure you saw that a lot better than I did, but.
Not really. That's that old story about you can call holding on every play.
Yeah, I think that little drag down, and then Eric Kendricks sold it by raising his arms and got the call.
Final half minute now is Alfred Morris, who's the backup to Elliott, former Redskin who had a tremendous rookie year in 2012 in Washington. And he's going to get the carry, and he gets tripped up and down at the 45-yard line, and that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter. Minnesota 3, Dallas nothing. Thursday Night Football from Minneapolis continues after these messages from your local station. Great shot at downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tonight's aerial coverage provided by Geico. We start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Heather Cox. In that shot, the home of the Twins, Timberwolves, and Vikings. All in the downtown area. From the 50-yard line now. We start here with Elliott. Tremendous balance for the Dallas Cowboys in a league where the pass-run ratio is 60-40. 60% pass, 40% run. These guys are 50-50. They're the only team in the league that has run more than thrown this season. Scott Linehan, former head coach of the Rams when they were in St. Louis, calls the plays. It's 3rd down and 1. One little jet sweep here with Lucky Whitehead, and he fumbles as he gets to the 40-yard line, and the Vikings this time are going to wind up with the football for sure. Kendricks is there to recover it.
Their star, Everson Griffin's going to come around the edge here, and Whitehead just had no idea. Look at the punch out there to get the football out. So you're talking about one of those teams. They came into this game with 20 takeaways, and they are a dangerous team. It was one of the things the Cowboys were worried about. Their young football team against a defense that is really experienced and really talented taking the football away. And so far, Vikings doing a nice job of that.
Vikings 3rd best in the league taking the ball away. That time they don't even have to review it. That one will stand without question. And from the 34-yard line now, as they have their 9th fumble takeaway, they give the ball to McKinnon. He gets to the outside and takes it up to the 39-yard line.
Well, these two teams don't expect to see a lot of fireworks because of the way they play on the defensive side. This is the lowest completion percentage allowed on passes to receivers 20 or more yards down the field. The Vikings #1, the Cowboys #2. So neither one of these teams give up a lot of big plays. It's going to fit right in for Sam Bradford and for Dak Prescott. Both of them more than happy to take those checkdowns.
2nd down and 5. Oh, get action again.
False start.
Karen.
Offense number 67.
That's him.
5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Pat Shurmur, he was the head coach at Cleveland not that long ago. Then he was at Philadelphia. He was also at St. Louis with Bradford. So he was with Bradford in St. Louis, in Philadelphia last year. Comes here. He's the interim offensive coordinator right now because Norv Turner was here for 7 games. They were 5-2, and then shockingly, he resigned. So Sherman took that spot, 2nd down and 10. And that's caught up at the 36-yard line. Charles Johnson. Man, Chris, you think about, Bradford and all this stuff that's gone on. He's going to be the starter in Philadelphia. Then he gets traded. He was shocked. His wife had to tell him that he was traded. Comes here, starts in the 2nd game. They change offensive coordinators. The offensive line is a total mess.
Adrian Peterson's hurt. I mean, everything just went against him. And now his head coach isn't here at the ball game either. But I tell you, Sam Bradford has made adjustments. Now, he got the ball out quickly when he first got here, but it has been remarkable how quickly that ball is coming out now. He just had to adjust, and he did.
3rd and 4. And Bradford throws, and that'll be a 1st down completion to Diggs. Just one thing on Bradford, though. He actually got it in a text, the information. Then his wife told him.
Yeah, and this tells the story just a little bit that the snaps under 2.5 seconds have gone up from 56% to 67%. Those over, and the dropbacks per sack now at 21. That's much better number. So not getting hit, not getting sacked nearly as much. Maybe the offense isn't quite as exciting. Maybe they don't throw it down the field as much, but at least their quarterback's not getting hit. Now we get a little wildcat.
We do. McKinnon lined up as the tailback, but before the snap, officials come in. Hold him because they wound up subbing here. So now you've got McKinnon still there, coming to the outside. He's going to throw and almost has it intercepted at the 35-yard line. Byron Jones was there, nearly had a pick, incomplete, 2nd down.
Well, we were wondering what kind of a passer McKinnon may be, and I think if he had just lobbed this one over the top, they had a chance. Byron Jones, such a versatile guy on the back end there, just missed making a play, and McKinnon got away with ruining his quarterback completion percentage.
Yeah.
That one.
He played a little bit of quarterback at Georgia Southern, so no stranger to throwing the ball. Peterson comes over to analyze it with him. 2nd down and 10. Inside handoff here to Patterson. And Cordero Patterson gets taken down by Barry Church, who's missed the last 4 games with a broken forearm. So he's playing with his arm in a brace. It'll be 3rd down.
And you see now Cordero Patterson lining up in the backfield. They don't care how they get Cordero Patterson the football. They really don't. Here's a guy that has 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns in his career. And basically, it's been unbelievably creative. The different ways. 40% of the balls thrown to this guy is a quick screen. They just raise up and throw him the ball and then let him go beat the guy one-on-one.
3rd and 10. Bradford throws a little too high. Coverage is tight and good. Intended for Adam Thielen. You got Orlando Scandrick covering on the play, and it's 4th down.
And more, that's the way teams have to play the Minnesota Vikings. They'll run a lot of quick throws, a lot of quick sort of crossing routes in there. They're just going to get the ball out of their hands, and they don't care if they punt the ball. They have a great defense. They're going to play to the defense. Mike Prefer is going to be perfectly fine sending his punter out there. Let's back up the Cowboys and see what happens.
Lock's second punt. His first was 43. Cowboys have Cole Beasley back to receive it. He calls for a fair catch and holds it in at the 16. That's where Dallas will begin its next drive. 10:41 left in the opening half. 3-0 Minnesota.
This is an outstanding trade regarding the future of the Cowboys.
One owner said it's a great train robbery.
Herschel, I want to welcome you to the Minnesota Vikings. I'd like to see that thing going across that end zone about 10 times a game.
And that was the beginning of a Cowboy dynasty. Jerry Jones had bought the team. That was his first year as the owner of the team. That was a mid-season trade coming in October, and the beginning of some run for the Dallas Cowboys. It was also Troy Aikman's rookie year. Prescott throws to the outside, and that's caught by Elliott, who gets taken down immediately by Terrence Newman, the longtime Cowboy. Then he went to Cincinnati, and now comes with Zimmer to Minnesota at the age of 38. You go back to 03. He was drafted in the same draft class with Jason Witten of the Cowboys, and Tony Romo was undrafted, but they picked Tony up as a free agent in 03, and then he became the starter in 06. And there is Witten, of course, who's only missed one start in his illustrious career. Second down and 12 from the 14-yard line. Elliott, and he's going to get taken down, and Harrison Smith in the backfield.
Well, you're not going to stop Ezekiel Elliott unless you're willing to take some chances. Watch this. The safety coming out of the back end, Harrison Smith. And the reason the Minnesota Vikings are so willing to send those safeties after running backs in the run game is because they have so much confidence in Xavier Rhodes and Terrence Newman and Captain Munnerlyn, their cornerbacks on the outside. This is one of several third and longs now the Vikings have forced already in this game.
Third down 13. Dallas averaging less than 4 yards per play. Low snap. Prescott protected well. Has some room to run on the outside here. Then turns it back upfield and gets to the 28-yard line. So he needed 13. Looked like he was looking for the boundary. Then saw some daylight to the inside. Winds up a gain of 14 and a first down.
This young man has the heart of a tiger. He's going to peel out. They had a little stunt going on the inside. Forced him out of the pocket. There was enough room, but it certainly didn't look like he was going to pick up that whole first down. But watch the second up here, diving across the line to pick it up. They get a little nervous when he runs in Dallas, but so many big plays have come from it.
Rushed for 5 TDs this season, tying Don Meredith's long-standing team record for a quarterback. Elliott. Chris, just to finish up on that trade, you know, that trade was in the middle of the season in October the 12th, 1989. It was a Thursday. Just proving that anything can happen on a Thursday.
Mr. Promo.
Oh, there you go. Whatever. You know.
I would say advantage Cowboys in this trade.
Oh, man.
You know, people forget how good a player Herschel is. A lot of what? They did what? And when you look back now historically, all those players just made that franchise in that great run.
And they went to 3 Super Bowls. In 92, 93, and under Barry Switzer in 95 after Jimmy Johnson had won the first 2. Elliott flings one to the outside, spin a move by Beasley to pick up the first down. Cole Beasley to the 42. You talk to the Viking coaches and they liken him, and they're right to like a Wes Welker type of player.
No doubt. And now let's talk about one of the stars on this offense right here, Tyron Smith. He's going up against the leading sacker for the Minnesota Vikings and Danielle Hunter, and just no problem at all. And there's the receiver you were talking about. They love using Beasley on those little option routes to the inside. So tough to cover one-on-one.
George Edwards, the defensive coordinator, who said he's just like Welker was so many years in New England. Elliott now for a gain of 1 up to the 43. When Dak targets Beasley, and remember, you're talking about a team that has Dez Bryant on it and Jason Witten, but he goes to Beasley. That's 4 out of 5 he completes. Yards per pass, that's a good average. The rating is terrific. 5 TDs and no picks.
Yeah, and now we just begin to wonder how much longer before they're going to start to work with Dez Bryant out here against Xavier Rhodes. They have to like the matchup, not so much here with safety help, but when it's one-on-one.
Prescott, good pocket field, deep throw, caught. Bryant, Dez Bryant gets up and takes the ball to the 1-yard line. Great call, Chris.
Just a matter of time, wasn't it? And this time working against a safety, you're going to see him come up, fake inside, and then take off. And for Harrison Smith, he just bit on the fake. They stand very flat-footed at safety. The Cowboys were surprised at how those safeties just sit down on occasion. So a double move on the safety and hit the big play.
Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. Reaching out for it, stumbling, getting up, picking up a few extra yards, setting up a first down and goal now at the 1-yard line.
Or he got the back end of that ball.
Timeout, Dallas.
Dallas calls a timeout. They had a fullback in there, Keith Smith, fronting Elliott. So timeout, Dallas knocking on the door. Again with a fullback, Keith Smith. Elliott the tailback from the 1-yard line. And Elliott right over right guard. Zeke in for the touchdown. That's his 12th rushing touchdown of the season and 13th overall.
Well, once again, you follow Travis Frederick and you find good things happening to you. Chad Greenway got a pretty open shot here to make this tackle, but as we have seen throughout the course of the season, so many times Ezekiel Elliott will basically take on the tackler. He'll be standing, and the tackler's looking up at him from the ground.
Dan Bailey, who's Mr. Automatic. Almost gave him a little kibosh there. Bangs another one through with 5.5 remaining to the half. Dallas takes the lead. Game day morning Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern. State Capitol in St. Paul. Teddy Bridgewater, and we wish him the best in his recovery. A very serious and severe knee injury about a week and a half before the season started, just on the practice field. Underwent surgery, and we hope he's back in time for the start of next season. Kickoff fielded about 6 yards deep. Patterson, who's had 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns in his career, 4 from 100 or more, brings that one back out to the 30. And we can take a Thursday Night Football being brought to you by the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track with 4Motion all-wheel drive, by Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet, by Chili's, and by Macy's. December. 24 more shopping days. Thanks. Minneapolis as we start week 13 of the NFL season. At the 30-yard line, the Vikings start with Jerick McKinnon. Extra Bradford in the backfield. Give it to him. And nice little move there to the 36. We go to Heather.
Al had a chance to catch up with Mike Zimmer's son, Adam, who is also the linebackers coach. He said his dad is resting at home, listening to the game on the radio, all in an effort to keep his blood pressure down, which is critical to a successful recovery. He added that they won't know for 24 to 48 hours how successful the surgery will be.
Thank you, Heather. As Bradford rolls out, throws, it's picked off at the 39-yard line, and that's Hitchens with a flag down. Dallas indicating against Minnesota that will not help Coach Zimmer's blood pressure right there if this one stands. That would be only the 4th pick of the season for Sam.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Defense number 32. 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that negates that. Orlando Scandrick gets flagged.
Ouch, that hurts. Coming up from the edge here, Scandrick's going to be there, and hands to the face as he gets up underneath the helmet and gets the call. But what a play here that was by Anthony Hitchens. That ball was rocketed out there, and he caught it with no problem at all. So as much as it feels like this game is starting to turn towards the Dallas Cowboys, there just seems to be opportunity after opportunity now for the Vikings to do something.
Picks are few and far between for that Dallas defense. Only 4 all season. Now here's Correnti again.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 96. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
It's the rookie from Nebraska, Malik Collins, their 3rd-round choice.
Well, you're going to get the jump, and then Searles is going to give him a little glove pat on the head. Make sure he got the call. That looked like an Ali jab there.
Looks right over the head linesman to make sure he saw it.
120.
Moves the ball to the 46. 1st and 5, and now you got action again. And that time it's Cedric Thornton who comes flying through.
Encroachment, defense number 92. This 5-yard penalty will create a first down.
Not often you see somebody run right past the quarterback. Sure, watch it. This is like the start of the 100 meters right here. And ordinarily you go, oh boy, he's going to hurt my quarterback. He just ran right past him.
3 straight penalties against Dallas, and now Bradford's going to air one out, and it's incomplete at the 10-yard line. Thielen running down the boundary, and he's chased by Anthony Brown, the rookie out of Purdue.
Nice read, just one-on-one, no safety help whatsoever. Watch a little hand fighting going on here, but that is much better for Anthony Brown, who made one of those sort of boneheaded plays on Thanksgiving last week when he didn't get deep enough and got beaten. But this is a talented young man. He is very athletic, very fast, and is learning the tricks of the trade. That was well done.
Sean Jackson took him to the shed last week. Ball to 49. 10 in. Takes it to the Dallas 45-yard line. Hitchens makes the tackle there. And it's going to make it 3rd down and about 6.
You know, it's so interesting to watch Rod Marinelli's defenses. They're not doing a lot of fancy stuff out there. They spend all week working on the fundamentals, on taking on blocks, on getting off blocks, on tackling, on intercepting, on doing all the football things. And he really believes in keeping it simple so his guys know what they're doing, play fast, and get after it. That's what they've done all season long.
Line holds up, but that secondary does its work. Thus a simple check down to Matt Asiata that goes nowhere. Sean Lee tracking him all the way, loss of 3, 4th and 9.
Sean Lee had no problem whatsoever with this one. You'll see him just sitting right here, and he's going to see the back coming out of the backfield, and he just has this measured all the way. He was just waiting for Bradford to cock his arm. I mean, on 3rd down and that long, the heck, you give him that one all day. And I think that's part of the frustration for the fans here sometimes is at least go for the first down, right?
For sure. Block's punt is a very short kick, and it takes a good Dallas bounce. That's as good a bounce as you'll ever see coming back the other way, and rolls out at about the 32-yard line. Dallas a decent shape field position. Real beauty on Thursday Night Football. Next week we'll be in Kansas City. The Oakland Raiders on top of the AFC West, coming off their thrilling win over Carolina. Kansas City, their thrilling win over Denver. So it's the Raiders and the Chiefs, and that's Thursday Night Football from KC a week from tonight. That was a 16-yard punt off the foot of Lott. So Dallas has the ball at the 32. 3:15 left in the half. They have 2 timeouts. Elliott showing patience, turns nothing into an average sort of gain around 4 yards or so. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Ziggy Wilf bought the team a number of years ago, and of course they were playing over in the Metrodome, and the Twins moved out into their beautiful facility, Target Field, and it was a long time getting this thing worked out and done. Owner and chairman of the team, but he was able to get it done. 36-yard line, 2nd down and 6. Prescott, play fake, and that buys a lot of time for him. And now he just has to throw it away into the Viking bench. And Peterson made the catch there. He did. So Adrian gets a little bit of action. He's thankful for. 3rd down.
We'd like him to get a whole lot of action on the outside. Jason Witten out here on the outside. Star tight ends can't always be route runners. That's just a 2-man route. They tried to go hard play action. They'd been running the ball well. At that time, the Vikings did a good job picking up that deep crossing route and give them another 3rd down.
3rd and 6. 2.5 to go.
Keep your eye on Anthony Barr, number 55.
Prescott feeling the pressure, throws, and it's caught at the 40-yard line, and Elliott will come up short of the 1st down. And the Vikings have all 3 timeouts. They're going to get the ball back. Neil Hunter put the heat on. It's going to be 4th down and 1 at the 41.
Well, you have to give this Vikings defense some credit here. They've given up 1 big play. They made 1 major mistake on the deep ball to Dez Bryant. Other than that, this has been a terrific half by them.
2-minute warning. They get the ball back. So the schedule comes out in April, and you look at it. December 1st, you've got Dallas at Minnesota. Hey, that's going to be Teddy Bridgewater against Tony Romo. You're going to see Adrian Peterson. Not quite Ripley's Believe It or Not, but
yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, and even Kellen Moore was supposed to be after Tony Romo, and we're down to Dak Prescott on that side.
And then they got Mark Sanchez in a trade. Good kick. Patterson forced to make a fair catch at the 13-yard line. Coming up, Alexis, halftime. Mike, Tony, and Rodney are here, and they will take a look at the first half from their perspective. Rich Eisen, the NFL Network crew, and the impact of Gronkowski's back injury. So Rob Gronkowski's going to have to undergo surgery tomorrow. I think in Los Angeles is when the procedure will be done, and that might be it for him this season. We don't know. We'll find out the latest at halftime.
Yeah, usually Tom Brady and Bill Belichick figure something out, but that's a big loss there.
Huge.
Wish him well.
14-yard line. Minnesota all 3 timeouts. Start with a quick pass to the outside. And got a 6-7-yard gain for Stephon Diggs, tackled by Scandrick. Bradford now 11 of 15 for 96 yards.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs is really the playmaker for this offense. Coming off a knee injury, still looks a little gimpy out there.
Bradford throws. It's going to be short of the 1st down. And it's inbounds too. It doesn't stop the clock. Rudolph makes the catch. Clock keeps on rolling.
And this is a pivotal play, because if they don't get this, so you kind of play this halfway. You let that clock run a little.
And Dallas has 2 timeouts. They stop him here. They'll take a timeout. Down to a minute now. Bradford throws, and that becomes a moot point as Diggs makes the catch at the 27, and now Minnesota can use its first timeout, and they do with 58 seconds left in the half. Tony Sperano has had his hands full this year, moving guys in and out. The only guy who has started every game is Brandon Fusco, who's the right guard. So they have had, along the way, after last year when everybody started every game, 3 left tackles, 3 right tackles, 2 left guards, a pair of centers, and only Fusco on the right side has played in every game. 11 different guys have started up front.
How you look at it, Matt Khalil, Jake Long, both former first-round draft picks. Andre Smith, the first-round draft pick. They're all gone. Mike Harris, who was their starting right guard in every game last year, gone. It's a who's who on this offensive line that really basically has been unavailable.
Bradford under pressure, gets contacted as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. So, and Sam is down, so Bradford shaken up. Their backup quarterback is Sean Hill, who was the starter in the opener. So Sam's still down, and they have to take a timeout.
They just can't get a block from TJ Clemmings, and this has been kind of the tough part all season long. And Bradford's going to get spun around, then take a shot right to the ribs there as he was throwing that one.
Well,
oh, that looked like Malik Collins that got him after Lawrence spun him around. And then there's Sean Hill.
He's been everywhere, more places than Johnny Cash. 15 years in the league. There's Lawrence, who comes in, and then you got Collins, who delivers the shot. Hill started opening day. They won the game at Tennessee, but they won it because of defense and special teams, basically. Threw for 236 on the day. So 15 years. Goes back to 06. He played for North Turner when Turner was in San Francisco. Bradford sitting down on the bench, and so Hill has to come in here on a 2nd down and 10 at the 27-yard line. Goes right to work through the air, hits Thielen, takes it to the 32-yard line. You're right, they got to play like halfway here. You got a new quarterback, you got the timeouts, you got one anyway, but you might be just happy to go in at 7-3 at this point. 3rd and 4, and then he'll get buried to the 25-yard line.
Now the Cowboys call timeout.
Malik Collins, the rookie, and Dallas will take a timeout. They're going to get the ball back after the punt. So the interim head coach, special teams coach, Mike Prefer. Dad was a long-time special teams coach, Chuck, in the NFL for a number of years. His team will now have to punt as Locke, his last kick was 16 yards. It's another short one, and it takes another Dallas bounce, and that one is down to the 49-yard line. So Locke had a 16-yard net. That's a 25-yard net. Dallas is going to get the ball with 15 seconds and at least a chance to work their way into field goal range. And of course, we'll check on Sam Bradford.
He took a shot with a helmet right to the ribs. And for a quarterback, when you're trying to stretch it out, here he comes. Watch Collins come right into the rib cage right there. And of course, as you're making that throw, everything's extended and those ribs are exposed.
So Prescott trying to get them into Bailey field goal range, and instead he gets sacked at the 46. Daniil Hunter, who leads the team in sacks, he now has 8.5. And that's what they needed right now to make sure that Dallas didn't have a chance to tack on another tray. Halftime at 7-3. We'll check on Bradford. Stay tuned. Lexus halftime report, highlights and analysis. Plenty more ahead on Thursday Night Football, presented by Bud Light. Start of week 13, beginning here in the upper Midwest in Minneapolis.
Get in your steps and wrap your team and sing it. I don't know what you've been told, but football make you lose control.
And he fumbles as he gets to the 40-yard line, and the Vikings are going to wind up with the football for sure. Good pocket field, deep throw, caught. Des Bryant takes the ball to the 1-yard line. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch.
Well, he got the back end of that ball.
Zeke in for the touchdown. Dallas takes the lead. And on we go to the second half at U.S. Bank Stadium, Minneapolis. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Heather Cox on this Thursday night. Sam Bradford, and we'll check on his condition. 13 of 18, leaves the game in the final minute. We'll check on him in a second. Prescott, 7 of 10, only 89 yards. That one completion. Shorter to Bryant. Fewest points in the first half over the season, but they still have the lead. And Elliott, 13th TD of the season, 12 of them on the ground. And the league's leading rusher has been held to 39 yards on 12 carries. So Bailey to kick off as we start the third quarter. And we'll see about the quarterback situation as it's fielded at the 4-yard line by Mac Asiata. And Asiata flag comes down at the end of the play as he takes it out to the 22. And there is Bradford. So good news for the Vikings. Sam in distress at the end of the half. Here's Tony Correnti.
Kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 51. Penalty assessed half the distance to the goal and a first down.
Edmund Robinson, and we go to Heather.
Al, as you mentioned, Sam Bradford did take a shot to the ribs with a helmet in the end of that second quarter. He did leave the game, but he did not get any medical attention. Mike Prefer told me coming out of the locker room, he is fine. As you can see, he's out on the field and good to go. Good news for Vikings fans, Al.
It is, and there he is. So otherwise it would have been Sean Hill who would have been the man who finished the first half. So Bradford back to start the third quarter, but after the penalty, he begins from his own 8-yard line.
Yeah, and defined fine.
Right, you're right. Play action, good protection. The line holds up this time, and I guess that's fine. Charles Johnson flagged down, however. Johnson makes his first catch of the night. And the Vikings moving upfield as if the penalty is going to be called against Dallas. Let's see. Jason Garrett coaching his 100th regular season game.
Defense number 59. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a first down.
It's on Anthony Hitchens, and it takes him all the way out to the 33. 25-yard gain.
Well, basically you're just going to go all the way across the field for Charles Johnson, and a huge play to get him out of the hole early on, and for Sam Bradford just proving he could still throw it.
From the 33 again, that play fake. And a very dangerous pass caught out in the flat by McKinnon, and he's shadowed by Lee, who takes him down immediately.
That was very close to a lateral there, and for Mike Prefer, sure relieved to see his quarterback back out there. But we have seen so many times that Sean Lee is the guy that you have to account for in the passing game and the running game. The #1 goal of the Minnesota Vikings in their run game was somebody please get a hat on Sean Lee. It's not easy to do. They protect him.
That loss of 4. They'll run it. McKinnon, nice slip move there. Out to the 38-yard line. 3rd down and 5.
Well, for Sam Bradford, he came into this game with an average depth of target of 6.4 yards. Now, Alex Smith is kind of known as one of those guys that's going to throw it underneath. His is 7.4 yards, so a full yard less. But really no choice because of the blocking issues from TJ Clemmings in that first half. Catch it, throw it, that's really their only option.
They ran it there on a 2nd and long and got 9 yards out of McKinnon.
We've seen some blitzes in this situation just so they assure themselves of that one-on-one.
And here they come. They blitz. Bradford steps away, and Sam's got the first down and slides to a stop at the 50. So Marinelli dialed up one of the rare blitzes for the Cowboys, and Bradford makes him pay for it to gain a 10.
Here comes the blitz right here, and for Sam Bradford, you know those ribs are still hurting him. He's probably thinking, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, let me get down. And there he is making the play. You have to admire his courage coming out here in the second half and taking off and running. They need something to jumpstart this offense, and so far so good.
10 yards. That's Bradford's longest rush of the season. First down. Now they give it to Patterson and a sweep around the right side. But he'll be taken out of bounds by Byron Jones after a pickup of 6 yards. 2nd down and 4 for Minnesota.
Yeah, the one thing I don't think the Vikings do enough of is play action off of that action right there to Cordero Patterson. Once you see him come across in that jet sweep sort of action, everybody moves on the defensive side of the ball. Everybody's paying attention. And if you were to play fake that and drop back and throw, I think you would have plenty of open area out in front of you.
Yeah, had a good rookie year and then kind of was lost in the shuffle last year and trying to work his way back to some sort of prominence is Patterson. Bradford now throws, and that is caught, and forward progress might net the first down. Johnson is there, They'll spot it at the 41, and that will be enough to move the sticks.
Yeah, speaking of somebody trying to work their way back into prominence, Charles Johnson is a guy that was huge in 2014 and really has not been much of a factor since. Has really kind of gotten a little bit of an opportunity now because of the injury to Stephon Diggs. The other guy we haven't heard much from yet is Laquan Treadwell, their #1 pick, only 1 catch on the season coming in.
And you're talking about Johnson. He hasn't scored since 2014. This drive began back at the 8. Bradford has him to the Dallas 41, and that may have been tipped as it left his hand, and it will be 2nd down and 10.
That time Cedric Thornton, I think, got his hand on the football. They're going to go. You'll just see him get his hand up.
Yep.
Bingo. Got it.
He joined us late. Mike Prefer. You saw Mike on the sideline. He's the interim head coach. Mike Zimmer had emergency eye surgery, detached retina yesterday. And so Prefer, who's the special teams coach, they had a plan in place. Rick Spielman, the general manager, said it was easier to make him the head man and as Bradford drops it and then picks it up, and still have Shermer call the plays, Edwards do the defense, and Prefer on the game.
Well, remember, you've got the backup center in the game, and Nick Easton, Joe Berger, as if we had to tell you there were offensive linemen hurt. And so that one just gets away from those two. But those are the kinds of things. It's all well and good. See if we can see what happened. Just hit him right in the hands. But this offense can't have plays like that, right, Al? It can't have plays like that. They can't make up for them. Probably at best right here, you're going to get a little crossing route, about 4 or 5 yards. They hope somebody breaks a tackle, then they walk out and punt the football. That's typically what happens.
When you're last in the league, you don't want to go 3rd and 16, but they do here, and he's going to go for it all, and it's incomplete, and the coverage is great. And you talked about Treadwell. There he is, making a rare appearance. First time he's been targeted tonight, and he's covered on the play by Brandon Carr. Blanketed, 4th down.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting that the Cowboys were willing to come up with just one-on-one coverage on the outside. They play that little lurk coverage, probably anticipating those crossing routes. And it's really a great read by Bradford to get the one-on-one. But Laquan Treadwell is not the fastest guy in the world. He's not really who you'd prefer to throw it deep to.
Now Locke, who's had a pretty bad night with 2 very short punts. This one will back him up inside the 10. So the Vikings work themselves out of a hole, and Dallas starts from deep in its own territory. Those guys, Minnesota North, won their first state championship in football. First Minneapolis public school to win a state title since 1977. Right here, they defeated Rushford Peterson over the weekend, 30-14. Way to go. Dallas now, first play of the second half of the Cowboys is a 7-yard Elliott run. 2nd and 3.
Well, Dak Prescott, we've seen all the great things he's been able to do this season, but this was the play of the game so far. A little in and up cut there by Dez Bryant, beautifully thrown. Watch his feet. You never see him out of balance. He will stay with basically his feet in that position and sort of hop around. Bobby Knight would like how he would play defense. So sort of staying in one position, not crossing over, not doing a lot of things to get off balance and make throws.
Call it 2nd and 4 from the 15. And his 11th attempt of the night is a leaping grab up at the 29-yard line by Dez Bryant.
I just don't know how you stop this above the rim kind of route here, because when Dez gets a ball above his head, almost nobody can knock it out of his hands. He's just so big and so strong. You see him in pregame warm-up practicing this all the time. And Dak has learned, just put it up in the air and give him a chance.
3 catches for Bryant tonight, 2 for Beasley, 3 for Elliott. Those are the only 3 receivers to the 35. So Bryant missed a couple of games. We saw him get hurt week 3 against Chicago. First 5 games, pretty slow start for those guys, but last 3 games since Dez got back and got healthy, they really picked it up.
Late flag on that play.
5 penalties have been assessed against each team tonight.
Personal foul, clipping, offense number 89. Penalty assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
And that's Gavin Escobar, the other tight end, which backs up and plays in the 2 tight end set with Jason Witten.
Well, you can see him trying to run down here, and then just as Robinson starts to get away from him, he falls on the back of his legs, and that is the penalty. But that is the opportunity now that the Vikings have to have. They just have to find a way to get the ball back, force them to punt from backed up, and maybe your offense can get something going here tonight.
So now it's first down and 24. Penalty assessed from the spot. Prescott empties the backfield. They stack a couple of receivers off to the left. Play clock at 1. And then he fires, and a little mistiming, miscommunication. Beasley, Linval Joseph put the heat on that time, forcing the quick throw, second down.
Well, what Dak Prescott is watching is right here. And he's trying to go hard count, and so they show it. Okay, now they show it. Prescott comes over, gives a signal one way, tells them the other way. They switch who's going to blitz inside. You saw Kendricks point over and say, Anthony Barr, you end up going, and then they get another free runner. So that double-A blitz look, a lot of multiple kind of things you can do defensively. And right now we're seeing George Edwards dialing it up just a bit.
Second down and 24, trying to force a punt from deep in Dallas territory. This is Terrence Williams, and he makes his first catch of the night, and he'd been better served dropping it. Xavier Rhodes comes in to make the tackle. That's a loss of 5, and it's 3rd and 29.
This Xavier Rhodes has just had a tremendous year this year. A 35 quarterback rating against him is #1 in the National Football League. Now, admittedly, he's gotten away with a few plays during the course of the season, but sometimes that happens to great players too.
8 minutes left in the 3rd and a 4-point game. 3rd and 29. Crowd roaring, only a 3-man rush, set up a screen here, and this is Elliott, and Elliott gives him a lot of breathing room, well short of the first down, but at least he gets it out to the 25 to set up the Jones punt.
Yeah, but that penalty was really big, and right now defensively the Vikings are doing everything they can against a tremendous offense, keeping this team in the game. But eventually something has to happen, and that something might be sitting back there, number 84. Maybe a special teams play, maybe some kind of a return. This team has had a lot of returns for touchdowns this year. They need something.
Some major break, explosive break. Patterson is going to wave off, taking the punt. Instead it bounced to a stop 34-yard line where the Vikings next go to work. Thursday Night Football being presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. Next Thursday, we will head down to Kansas City, Missouri, Arrowhead Stadium. Always a terrific venue. The Raiders and the Chiefs, phenomenal rivalry, a couple of original AFL teams, and it really will mean something major. Both teams having great seasons, and that's the game next Thursday night. As the play here, Jerick McKinnon. You know, the Dallas Cowboys, born in 1960. Tom Landry was their coach for 29 years. Jerry Jones bought the team. Jimmy Johnson came in. They've had 8 coaches. Jason Garrett now is second in terms of longevity to the great Tom Landry.
Yeah, and I think you have to give Jerry Jones some credit knowing what he had. He stuck with him, even though there were a couple of ups and downs along the way. And for Jason Garrett, he has really proved the kind of leadership he's capable of with this football team.
Took over in the middle of the 2010 season as Bradford off play action throws to the outside. That should be a first down to Stephon Diggs. So with Garrett, Wade Phillips was the coach. Wade got off to a good start after he came in when Bill Parcells retired. And then in the middle of the 2010 season, they had the disaster on Sunday night in Green Bay, and in came Garrett as the interim coach. Then he took over in 11 full time. he had been on Garrett's staff, and he had a chance to coach Baltimore. He could have coached the Ravens before John Harbaugh got the job, but he passed it up.
Watch this wild card.
McKinnon on the wild card, the Wildcat here, and he will hand the ball off to Asiata. So little razzle-dazzle amounts to a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, that was interesting because Sam Bradford a week ago when they went to the Wildcat, not the wild card. Sorry about that. I walked you down the path there, didn't I?
I'm Pavlov's dog right here. Don't worry about it.
Sam Bradford was all the way on the boundary and still got attacked by the defense. That time he was lined up almost in a slot to make you think maybe they're setting up a little something here. They might do one of those plays where they toss it back to him, something like that.
I can only pray it works because they need an explosive play, something they just don't get. 2nd and 7. 4-man rush. Bradford throws, caught. Rudolph out to the 46 of the Cowboys, setting up a 3rd and 1 with 5 minutes left in the 3rd.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those moments in the game. It's 3rd down and 1, but even if I did not pick it up here, I would think of this as 4-down territory. At some point, your offense has to put something together. You have great field position here. Your defense did a job. At some point, you know Dallas's offense is going to get going as well. This is really sort of that moment for the Vikings.
Yeah.
With 19 and a half minutes left in the game. 3rd and 1. They'll go play action. This time the protection is excellent. The pass is caught, and that's a 1st down. Kyle Rudolph to the 36-yard line.
Well, I like what Pat Shurmur is doing now on some of these 3rd down and shorts. He is going hard play action. Bring your big fullback in the game or big running back in the game, and then just play fake off of it. He looked down the field. They were going to try and take a shot. It wasn't there. Just check it down for an easy 1st down to Kyle Rudolph. Nicely done by Pat Shurmur.
From the 38-yard line now. Thielen in motion. Through the middle. Asiata breaks one off to the 23-yard line. Tackled by Jack Crawford. Another 1st down.
All right, TJ Clemmings had a rough night so far in pass protection, but this guy can run block. Watch the wash down here on this block. Just take him completely out and blow open a hole there. So Clemmings, a guy, despite the stunt there, fully capable of making big plays in the run game. And now they have some of those big backs in there to try and take advantage.
Going no huddle here, but slow. Brought some subs in. 24 now. Bradford down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Charles Johnson, the intended receiver, going to work again on the rookie Brown out of Purdue, the 6th round pick.
Well, one of the problems these Vikings receivers are having is Anthony Brown is forcing them into the boundary. So there's very small area there, and he comes back, never really looks back at the quarterback, and somehow almost guesses. Once those hands went up, he just threw his hands into there and made the play. He's had a nice night here so far.
If they like him, I mean, he's a guy who's seen a lot of action. Baptism by fire against Washington last week, but doing a good job here tonight. Dial up a blitz, pass over the middle, and at the 20-yard line, that's Thielen making the catch there, and Brown with the tackle. So now you've got a 3rd down, and let's call it 4. 3rd and 4.
And for the Cowboys now, they are rushing 5 a lot because what they want to do, Al, is they want Clemmings to be forced into one-on-one blocks on the outside. But so far, Bradford doing an even better job just getting it out of there before any pressure can get to him.
As we mentioned, Cowboys blitz very infrequently. 2nd fewest percentage of blitzes in the league. About 1 out of every 6 dropbacks. Will they come again? No, this time only a 3-man rush. And Bradford throws under pressure, and it's incomplete in the end zone. Kyle Rudolph almost pulled it in. Got bracketed there. Byron Jones with the cover. 4th down.
Well, let's give Bradford some credit. He put it the one spot that they had a chance to make a play. Byron Jones perfectly played there. There really was just nowhere to get that ball in. See, didn't get a hand on it, and Rudolph just couldn't pull it in.
So now they try to turn it into a 1-point game. Kai Forbath, 5th year in the league, former Washington Redskin. This will be a 36-yard field goal attempt. Block to put it down. And the kick is good with 2:10 remaining now in the third quarter. Just through the hands of Rudolph. So the Cowboys in quest of their 11th straight win, up 7-6. Channel Saturday on NBC from the Bahamas. Tiger back to action today, shot a 1/73 in the first round. 7-6 game here. We'll take it at the 25. Some of the Viking Hall of Famers in attendance tonight at US Bank Stadium. Here on NBC. So a 1-point game. Dallas has it at its own 25-yard line. 2:10 to go in the third. And Prescott buying time off the fake, buys more time, and he will run and pick up about 8 yards before he is forced out of bounds. 2nd and 2.
Yeah, so you put a fullback in the game, Keith Smith, on first down. Everybody in the house is looking run, and then here comes Prescott out the backside of that. So that combination, Tony Romo always had mobility, but that combination of those bootlegs and the read option and the occasional run from Prescott really has ratcheted this offense up just a notch.
Have a conversation a little later about Tony and what the future might or might not hold for him. 2nd down and 3 at the 32-yard line. Elliott looking for space and he's leaning forward, and we'll see where they spot this one. Very, very close to a first down. Chad Greenway, and congratulations to Chad and Mrs. Greenway on the birth of their 4th child. All daughters this week. First down.
Well, we're going to do that. Kyle Rudolph had a couple of twin babies himself, so congratulations all the way around.
There's another new daddy. Final minute, third quarter. First down at the 35-yard line. And the extra offensive lineman in. So Looney and Elliott. Look at that move. Around the side he goes. Starts left, flag down, goes right, flag down. Tony Correntes had a fairly busy night.
Holding, offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's Escobar again. That was a key penalty earlier in the quarter on him.
This has been a rough night so far for Gavin Escobar. These 2 penalties, that was going to be a first down there, assuming Robinson didn't make the play. But now they are backed up, and now you have a chance for, oh, it was the first down already.
So now it's a first down and 20. Back at the 25-yard line. Prescott, look out! Was the arm coming forward? That was Robinson who hits him. They're going to rule it a fumble and a recovery. Of course, all pending the replay. Everson Griffin comes up with the recovery. Was his arm coming forward with the ball? Nope.
Not even close. What a play by the veteran. We've been sitting here all night. The Cowboys have been backed up. They had not been making big mistakes. And then there it was. This defense has been doing it all night long, right against Doug Free, who is the weak spot for this Cowboys offensive line. They take advantage. And look out here, the Vikings in business.
At the 19-yard line, Robinson fired up. Been with this team a long time, since 07. Played his college ball, University of Texas.
Oh boy!
And now you got action again on the offensive front.
Fleming's jumped.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Check out Robinson after that last play.
Yeah. You know, these defensive ends for the Minnesota Vikings just make play after play. I think that is now 20.5 of their 30.5 sacks on the season by those defensive ends, and they've had another great night tonight.
1st and 15. Asiata now keeps those legs churning. Nice run there, takes it to the 18, and that's going to take us into the final quarter. We've played 3 on Thursday night with Dallas leading Minnesota 7-6. Tonight's aerial coverage being provided by Geico, downtown Minneapolis on this Thursday night. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Heather Cox. Good one in Minneapolis. 7-6 is the score. Vikings already in field goal range. And it's 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 19 as we start the final quarter. They go 5 wide on this play. Bradford fires, caught 15-yard line. Adam Thielen tackled by Skandrick. So the playoff picture at the moment: Dallas best record in the NFC. Seattle next. They lost to Carolina. We'll see them Sunday night. But if Dallas loses tonight and the Giants beat Pittsburgh on Sunday, then next week the game on Sunday Night Football is Dallas at the Giants. And that would be for first place, because if the Giants won that one, they'd have the same record as Dallas at that point, and the Giants would have swept the season series, because Dallas's only loss this season was to the Giants on opening day. 3rd and 6. Bradford throws nowhere, and it was intended for, well, there's Treadwell, the rookie, not on the same page. 4th down. They settle for a field goal attempt to give them the lead.
Well, it's a complete screw up by Laquan Treadwell here. Here's the 1st down marker. You go just past the line, and then you turn around. Watch where Bradford threw the ball. Right at that 1st down marker. You just can't give away big moments like that, and that's one of the reasons coaches hate playing rookies.
It's their 1st round draft choice, too. 33-yard attempt. Forbath. We give the Vikings the lead. Oh, and it hits the upright. And just like Sunday night, a pinball machine. It goes through. So just hit the inside of the upright. That's the trick these days.
Should be 4 points.
Yes. Willie Hoppy is back. 9-7, Minnesota. See you tomorrow on NFL Network.
My old partner.
Yep. Yeah, you did a Super Bowl with Troy and with Joe Buck from Jacksonville. Won by New England over Philadelphia. Lucky Whitehead downs it in the end zone.
Well, let's give a little credit to George Edwards, who's calling the defensive signals, and these defensive players. We have seen guys like Harrison Smith firing off the edge. We have seen great plays by Eric Kendricks at the linebacker position. And then Brian Robinson with the play of the night to come in for the 2nd fumble of the evening. And this is just the 2nd game this year that the Cowboys offense has had more than 1 turnover. And now can the Vikings do it again on defense?
And the Vikings have dominated time of possession, a category in which Dallas is #1 in the league. Ezekiel Elliott up to the 28. Hunter makes the tackle. 2nd and 8.
And really, we've seen Dallas's offense tonight do things we haven't seen them do all season long. Key penalties that have backed them up and sort of taken them out of some of their conservative check down screens, run the ball, and it's forced them into a game that they're not as comfortable with.
A couple of them on Escobar here in the 2nd half have been very damaging. 2nd and 8. Play action. Prescott stepping up. He's going to take off, seeking the 1st down, gets it before he is forced out of bounds by Kendricks. So tonight, Prescott's carried 3 for 30. They've held Elliott, the leading rusher in the league, to 50 yards on 15 totes.
Well, they bring in the extra offensive line here, Jumbo Joe Looney on the outside, just to give a little more time as they tried to work one down the field there. But it has been some of the runs of Dak Prescott that has really kept the Cowboys in this game.
Ran for a touchdown on Thanksgiving Day. against the Redskins. Again, play action, buys time, fires, caught in Viking territory. Terrence Williams makes the grab. He's tackled there by Harrison Smith. And for Terrence Williams, that's his second catch of the game.
Well, it's going to start with the big guy outside, Tyron Smith, and there's their best pass rusher on his back. So that's going to give Dak Prescott a chance with that hard play action fake and come across on that deep crosser to Terrence Williams. And now the Cowboys picking it up
at the 46-yard line. Bring Williams in motion and set him to the left. And feed Elliott. Tries to get around the corner. And he does for a very minimal gain, second down.
One of the things we've seen out of Ezekiel Elliott this season is the ability to make people miss by simply outrunning him. We see his power all the time, but when Elliott gets on the edge, you see so many defenders taking bad angles trying to get to him, and all of a sudden he's around the edge for one of those big plays. Much faster, I think, than most defensive players think.
Fourth overall pick in the draft. Ohio State trying to win the rushing title. Second and 8. Prescott firing, incomplete. Bryant can't one-hand it. And upcoming the big 3rd and 8.
Well, big play there by Xavier Rhodes. One-on-one coverage. If they can do that, if they can get away with the one-on-one, and remember, even the deep pass down the field had nothing to do with Xavier Rhodes. If they can win that one-on-one battle, they can help elsewhere and try and help against this running game. Get it one more time outside here.
Peterson keeping the crowd in it. Bryant goes wide to the right. Third and 8. Blitz, pressure, fires, caught, 33-yard line. Flag, however, Jason Witten makes the catch. And the penalty will be on. Cowboys aren't moving, so they indicated it's going to be on them.
Holding, offense, number 21. 10-yard penalty, and repeat, 3rd down.
And that's Ezekiel Elliott with the penalty.
It has been like this all night long. The Cowboys self-destructing here. You'll see him come up right here against Daniil Hunter, and no question, he hooks him, turns him, and they see it. And it's really what allowed Dak Prescott to get it off. And so once again, backed up on a 3rd and very long.
3rd down, 18. Have to get to the 36 for a first down, and that would be pretty much field goal range anyway. Play clock at 1. He gets it off and gets sacked at the 40-yard line. Hunter of the game.
Look at some of the coverage we have. 2 deep safeties, so the deep balls really weren't there. Good coverage on the outside. Witten with a short route. And if you cover them up on the back end, it gives your guys up front a chance to go get the quarterback. And they did it again.
3rd Viking sack. Jones's kick. Thielen is back to receive it. Fields it at the 14-yard line. And gets knocked down close to the 12-yard line. Good coverage. Vince Mailey is down there to make the stop. So you've got 10 and a half remaining in regulation, with Minnesota leading by 2 at home. All right, so while you were out in the kitchen, we took a real close look at this, as did Jason Garrett and his staff, and they're going to challenge this because it's clear that it's. Here's Correnti. We'll tell you about it in a second.
Challenging the ruling on the field that there was no fumble and a clear recovery. Therefore, we will take a look.
All right, so he's trying to get it overturned. It's going to be very, very close. There it is, and the recovery, and we'll have the verdict when we come back. NFL Thursday Night Football presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. And if your team is the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to be very happy with this.
Dallas at the 8-yard line. It will be Dallas's ball, first and goal at the 8. Dallas will not be charged with a timeout.
So they challenge. You got Thielen. Thielen fumbles. And then the question is there a clear recovery? The ball is out before his knee goes down. So there's your fumble. Now, he almost possesses it again, but here comes Wilbur, who has simultaneous possession and yanks it away. And thus Dallas is going to wind up with the ball.
For that, the Cowboys' first recovery and first turnover since October.
Right, first takeaway in the last 5 games. And now the pass to the outside is juggled by Bryant, but he holds it in and gets to the end zone for a Dallas touchdown. So Garrett clearly told from the guys upstairs, hey, you have a real good chance of winning the challenge. Calls for the challenge, wins it, and on the next play, Bryant gives Dallas the lead again.
I don't really get that one. If you leave Des Bryant with 10-yard cushion on the goal line, what do you think they're going to do? I mean, it's one thing to cover the guy. It's another thing to tackle him. And you give him that much room, he's at least going to make it to the 1, even if you make a great play.
The juggle, holds onto it. Bailey now to try to make it a 5-point lead, which he will do with 10:22. Some turnovers have been huge in this one for both teams. Bryant gets into the end zone for Dez tonight. 4 catches. Of course, he had the big one in the first half of 56 yards, and the Dallas Cowboys back on top.
You know, the defensive players of the Minnesota Vikings have to be absolutely sick right now. They are playing one of the games of the year, and it has been this play that has given the Cowboys offense a chance, and they trail now despite playing as well as they have. They've given up 1 pass, long pass down the field to Dez Bryant. They fumble 1, punt, and those are the 14 points.
So Dallas doing a little bit of self-destructing tonight with some penalties and the turnover, and there's Thielen losing the ball, losing control of it to Wilbur, and Dallas cashes in.
Man, I hope Mike Zimmer's not watching.
I'm just thinking the same thing, man. I'm just going, hey, you know, go to bed. Wow.
Been that kind of year for the Cowboys too.
Yeah. 5-yard line. Patterson trying to get around the corner, and there's a flag as he gets for the moment back out to the 26-yard line.
One of the major reasons for kicking the ball short like that is inevitably special teams players make penalties. How many times do we see them all backed up, and this one, who knows, might be against the Cowboys. They're pointing out, they're backing up.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, receiving team number 41. Penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
Anthony Harris, we go to Heather.
Well, a lot of people are certainly sending their best wishes to Mike Zimmer, who, as we mentioned, is at home recovering from surgery, including Pro Football Hall of Famer Fran Tarkenton, of course, a former Viking quarterback, tweeted this support of Mike Zimmer and wishing him a speedy recovery. And guys, Kyle Rudolph told me before the game, he said, you know what, tonight all of us just want to make Zim proud. We want him to know he can leave us for a night, and we will do our jobs for him.
They had that surgery, Heather, yesterday, as you know, and addressed the team earlier today and recuperating at home as Bradford throws, and it's caught by Diggs. Gets it out to the 16-yard line. 2nd down, 2nd and 4.
Boy, it's just been one of those kinds of runs here for the Minnesota Vikings, hasn't it? They've been in some games. They lose it on a late interception on Thanksgiving, and they just have to have something to get them out of it. They need a big drive here from their offense that they haven't always been able to deliver on this year.
I mean, every game is not critical for these guys because they've dug a hole in the NFC North. They run a draw here. McKinnon, and he tries to power forward for the first down. He'll be close, but looks to be a little bit short. Problem they have right now is they're a game back in Detroit, but they're really more than that because Detroit's already won the season series in the NFC North.
Yep, and here we go with another one of those 3rd downs and 1. with Pat Shurmur, what we've seen from him so far tonight is that he goes hard play action and takes a look down the field for a big play. Typically here you're going to get some one-on-one coverage if you're willing to give it a shot.
Third down inches. Asiata is the back. They put it in his hands, and he's able to move the chains as he gets to the 24-yard line for a first down.
Good blocks on the inside here. Nothing wrong with the Minnesota Vikings as run blockers, and you'll see the Dallas Cowboys more snaps than not on defense. They're going to slant their defensive line one way or another. So if you catch them moving one direction, it's relatively easy to just sort of wash them down and try and make a play.
Which they did. They have a first down here. And look out, Bradford is going to go down as Hitchens makes enough contact to knock him off balance and send him to the turf with 8 minutes to go. So a sack here. It's a sack of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 18.
Well, here it is exactly. You're going to get this line slant here, and it's going to set up this, and you're going to see right there Jeremiah Searles just not see the linebacker soon enough. And there's that big negative now for the Dallas Cowboys defense, and this is when it gets tough for the Vikings to overcome it.
Second sack for the Cowboys tonight. Ball back at the 15, 2nd and 18, halfway through the fourth quarter. Bradford protected well this time, and the pass off the fingertips of Charles Johnson. Had him bracketed, but he was free along the boundary and couldn't haul it in 3rd and 18.
I'm sure Jason Garrett's about to lose his mind. It would have been once again on a long yardage situation that Anthony Brown almost gave up a big one. They just missed the throw. Johnson can't quite get there, and Bradford is sick. That was their moment right there.
Church coming in at the end to help, but they had it and couldn't get it. 3rd and 18.
You're playing a 10-1 team. You cannot miss those.
Have to get to the 33-yard line. Bradford throws, caught, 20-yard line, knocked down to the 21. Crowd hates the call. They needed 18 yards and didn't get very much. Ellison makes the catch. Scandrick makes the tackle. Gain of 6, 4th down.
That's what they've done all night, though. We have to say they've stuck to a formula. They're not going to give up the big turnover there in that kind of a moment. But boy, when you're coming down now inside of 7 minutes and you start going, all right, we're going to give this one up and send the punter out, that doesn't feel very good to the season ticket holders.
So now Locke, his 6th kick, he's averaged only 31.8 tonight.
Well, he is having a bad night.
This one is bad too. Ugh. Was out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Yikes. 33 yards. Dallas ball. Old Skull chant for 66,000 at U.S. Bank Stadium. So now the Dallas Cowboys with the lead with the ball, and they got the right guy in the backfield to start running the clock down a little bit. And that's that guy right there. Elliott swings to the outside. Off he goes. Zeke Elliott tackled from behind at the 24-yard line by Kendricks. Keep feeding me, he says, and it's a 30-yard gain, and he may get to 100 tonight. That's 82 and 17 carries.
Great job by Jason Witten as they go up the field. Instead of blocking there, he turns up the field and makes the key block on this one as Elliott bounces to the outside. And once again, you see them just underestimating the speed of Ezekiel Elliott and getting down the field, and very nearly broke that one.
And now using the clock, we're under 6 minutes to go. Elliott again. Taken down the 26-yard line. You know, the best backup quarterback in the land, Chris, well, there he is. Probably the best paid as well. And so the question now becomes, and everybody's asking it, so I'll ask you, where is he next year?
It's a really good question. If he wants to continue playing, which I assume he does, I would imagine somewhere else. You know, but we saw a season ago, Peyton Manning was on the bench at one time during the year, and how'd that turn out, right? So it's a long way to go in this one. Let's see, wait and see what happens this season.
Well, you don't know. 2nd down and 9. Elliott again. Quarterbacks who lost their jobs when they were hurt over the years. Well, Ron Jaworski was the starter, and then Randall Cunningham came in. And then Joe Montana, of course, and eventually it was Steve Young's turn. And Joe went to Kansas City, and we all know about Bledsoe getting hurt, Tom Brady, and now you got Romo with Dak Prescott. So we'll see what happens with Tony. I mean, he loves living in the Dallas area. 3rd down and 7. 21. Prescott to throw. And it's incomplete, intended for Terrence Williams at the goal line, covered by Xavier Rhodes. The 4th down and 7.
Just tremendous that time by Xavier Rhodes. Watch him just pin Terrence Williams into the boundary here. He's got him right here into the boundary, out of bounds. Absolutely nowhere to go with that one.
Now Bailey comes in for a 39-yard field goal attempt. This would make it an 8-point game. With 4:20, and Bailey's kick is good. So it's still a 1-possession game, but the Vikings would need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and Dallas up by 8. An Arsenal football this weekend on NBCSN and NBC. It's a guy you may want to stay away from.
That's what I was thinking too. There's a lot of things I'd do here. I'm not sure I would kick it to him.
5 touchdown returns in his career. Has no fear. Patterson, and he brings it back out to the 25-yard line.
Well, we talk about Sean Lee, what he does in the running game, the passing game, and with his blitzing, and he has been all over the field here tonight. Dropping into some zone coverage there, getting off the block and making the play there. Coming up with a huge hit. Stop a key 3rd down there. So there is no question when you're talking about who is the focal point of that front 7 on the defense of the Dallas Cowboys. There he is.
7 tackles tonight, leads the team by a mile in tackles.
124 coming in to 55, next closest.
Right. It's over 10 per game. Bradford throws, and that pass is incomplete. You've got Rudolph, who gets covered by Hitchens on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Boy, Anthony Hitchens has had a night tonight. That's the 2nd time he's got his hands on the ball. The one time, of course, they called it back and didn't allow it, but this is really good coverage here, and he dives in front and almost comes up with the football. So if they can end up with a 2nd coverage linebacker inside to match at least of what a little of what Sean Lee can do, could really help this offense or defense.
Getting better and better. 3rd-year guy, Iowa. 4th-round pick in 14. 2nd down and 10. The blitz. Bradford fires, and that'll be caught for a 1st down. So he gets it to Thielen. Gain of 12. Under 4 to play now. 1st down. Up at the 38.
One of the things that's starting to show up is that the Cowboys are having to blitz to get some pressure here, but it also is leaving them in some man coverage.
Bradford protected well over the middle, 42-yard line. Jerick McKinnon with the catch there. Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6, 3.5 to go.
And the key for the Vikings, Al, no big mistakes. You can't have a holding, you can't have a sack, you can't obviously turn it over. Keep it going as long as they do possession.
4-man rush, and there's the sack. But a flag comes down. You've got that's Mayowa making the sack if it stands.
Holding, offense number 68. Penalty's been declined. The result of the play, 3rd down.
Which it will. Flemings.
Watch Clemmings here, just get his upper body leaning too far forward. People take advantage of him all the time. If he could learn to sit back and get a little more balance on those blocks. He's a good athlete. He's a big guy. He's a great run blocker inside. He just gets leaning too far forward in his pass protection.
So it's 3rd and 12 now. Bradford. He has to fling it away. So now you got 4th down, and you would think in certain circumstances you'd be in a 4th down territory, but not 4th and 12 here. You have your timeouts. Your defense is playing lights out, and you just have to hope they can make a quick stop.
You know, this offense is just limited to, as long as everything stays exactly on schedule, they can make first downs with those short passes. The minute one mistake is made, any kind of penalty, sack, anything goes wrong, they just can't overcome it.
So now Locke, who's had a really bad night, 6 punts, a 32-yard average.
Same thing.
Yeah, this one's a little better, but not much. Fielded at the 31, flag. Lucky Whitehead brings it back to the 34-yard line. And in all likelihood, it'll be against the Cowboys. And the Vikings can use their timeouts on defense.
Boy, I tell you, for Mike Prefer, not a night to highlight his special teams. They have not been good.
Yeah, it's interesting. They make the special teams coach.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 35. 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, Sunday night, off we go in 72 hours to Seattle. We go from one noisy place to another. Seahawks at home against the Carolina Panthers. Football night begins things at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So the Seahawks coming off a loss to Tampa Bay. Carolina living right on the edge right now, losing a crusher to Oakland. And that's our matchup. It's Cam Newton. It's Russell Wilson. It's Sunday Night Football from the Pacific Northwest.
Not too bad a quarterback matchup there. Russell Wilson against the MVP.
And Elliott, let's see if Minnesota takes a timeout. You know, we were talking about Romo. I don't know what Tony's future is, but I'll tell you one thing, Chris. When he decides to hang it up, he's going to be a great football analyst. He'll be tremendous on television. He will be, when he starts out, not quite as good as Troy Aikman.
There you go.
But he's going to be, he'll be great. He'll be great in the booth.
If he wants to do that. He's done okay for the rest of his life, too. But this is obviously a guy with the comments that he made. Everybody in America, I think, admired the class of the guy, that he basically stood up and said, hey, this is Dak Prescott's team. He deserves to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and it's my time to step back and play the backup role. And it's exactly what he's done. You can see him on the sideline over there helping Dak Prescott to be a better quarterback.
And that wasn't an easy thing for him to do. That was tough. I mean, he was emotional. You know, we've known him for years. He's one of the best guys in the league to deal with, to talk with. Very smart. Hope it works out for him. 2nd down and 9. Ball at the 23. Double fake. Now Prescott, he's going to stay in bounds, and he slides to a stop. And that's great. That's a great play by him. He might even have the first down with it. He knows he doesn't want to step out of bounds. He knows he wants to use the clock, and he did all of those things.
Got just enough, and also savvy enough to get just beyond. Let's see if he gets this first down. Where does he start the slide? I'm not sure. Where he started the slide was not really close to where that first down is. Right here is where he starts the slide, and he ends up getting marked 2.5 yards ahead of that.
And they can challenge the spot. You're outside Corrente over, and they can challenge the spot.
It's the right call.
Yeah.
Minnesota is challenging the ruling on the field of progress as related to a first down.
And they'll probably, we think they'll win it. Who knows? Let you know in a minute. So the two coaches, this is going to be close. It's where the ball is when the knee hits. Or the first body part in this particular case.
That
the foot
counts too.
Yep. So there you go.
The shin is on the ground, so you'd think it's a little bit more maybe in this area a little bit.
Yep. So if they win the challenge, it's going to be 3rd down and inches. And the clock's going to be wound, so you want Minnesota to take a timeout. So we'll see where they put it. You have a fairly definitive view there. If there is such a thing as fairly definitive.
Well, they're picking the ball up.
Yeah, moving it back. Then have to reset the sticks. Put the down marker at 3. And Crementi has seen the evidence.
After review, the Dallas runner was down short of the line to gain at the 31-yard line. It will be Dallas's ball, 3rd down and 1 at the 31. Minnesota will not be charged with a timeout.
They won't, but the clock's going to start here when the ball is ready for play. So now does Minnesota, not only do they need a stop, but do they want to take a timeout here? They should begin to wind this thing, and then Dallas is not going to have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. And the Vikings just took a timeout. So they know that the clock would be wound, so they were forced. They were between a rock and a hard place here, and they have to take the timeout to make sure that no more time runs off the clock. Okay, tomorrow at 9 p.m. he helped launch the dynasty. I mean, leading to America's team, winning 3 Super Bowls. It's another pop for Troy Aikman tonight.
I think that's good.
That's good. Your buddy?
Cowboys?
Or my buddy?
Maybe the next generation of great quarterback that's here with the Dallas Cowboys. Who knows?
You never know. From calling signals to the booth. Well, meanwhile, there's a streak in play here. Jason Witten has caught a pass in 130 consecutive games. That's about 8 years worth. So it's been 8 years since he's not caught a pass in the game. He has none tonight. He caught one, but it was negated by a penalty. And now Minnesota needs desperately a stop, and they get a fumble, and they almost get a turnover. And Elliott comes up with it, so they get the stop. And they just took another timeout, so they will stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. And they're out of timeout, so they will get the ball back, and we'll see what they can do with it in a 1-possession game.
Take a look and see if we can see Travis Frederick. I'm not sure the ball ever got back to the hands of Dak Prescott, and luckily Ezekiel Elliott was in the I formation so he could see the whole thing happen, because it went right between the legs of Dak Prescott. Boy, that would have been a turn of events.
So now Cordero Patterson goes back to accept the Chris Jones kick. Jones has had a good night. 5 punts. He's averaged 47.2. And the left footer with a sky-high kick. Not particularly deep, and you got all kinds of action going there. 2 Vikings and a Cowboy. And Minnesota winds up with it. So a little bit of confusion. Byron Jones is there, but the Vikings will have the ball at about the 36.
Yeah, and I thought Byron Jones, well, maybe he got blocked into it. I think he did there, which is why the officials let that go. And for the Minnesota Vikings special teams tonight, it has been a disaster. That was almost the end of the game, kind of a disaster right there. Well, here they are, though. They still have a chance. It's hard to believe the Vikings are sitting here looking at the possibility of a game-tying drive.
You know, there's a guy who's got 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns, but he doesn't return punts. Hasn't had a punt return. Still hasn't had one.
Maybe that was why.
In his career, yeah. Now why they don't put him back there. From the 35-yard line, here's the pressure. Bradford escapes, fires before crossing the line of scrimmage, and Adam Thielen makes the catch. Pulls it in right in front of the bench at the 47-yard line. DeMarcus Lawrence forced Bradford out of the pocket. Gain of 18. Does he? Does he?
1 foot down, and looks like he kicks that other one. Let's take one more look. It looked like a clean catch, no question.
Yep. McKinnon to the 40-yard line. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning at officially 1:57 on this Thursday night, the beginning of Week 13. Can the Cowboys hold on and make it 11 straight? All right, after the game, Volkswagen post-game report. Heather interviewing the star of the game, coming up right after the game on the VW post-game report. What a stadium. Great conceptual design. Beautiful building on this Thursday night. So it's 2nd down and 4 now. At the 41-yard line. After throwing, it's caught, and that's going to be a 1st down as Jerick McKinnon takes it past the chains. 1st down.
Yeah, and right now the Cowboys coming up and showing a little bit of that AA blitz in there, and it was Sam Bradford taking advantage of it and sneaking the back right in the flat right now. So Sam Bradford doing a nice job reading this Cowboys defense. Still has 36 yards to go and a 2-point conversion.
Correct. He hasn't scored a touchdown since a kickoff return against Arizona a couple of weeks ago. It's caught to the 21-yard line. Stephon Diggs for a 1st down. Tackled by Carr.
Go figure. Now it's the mobility of Sam Bradford making a difference. He scrambles left, hits a play. He scrambles right and hits Diggs. And now they're down to the 21-yard line.
85 seconds and ticking down. Bradford throws, and McKinnon, and he will get out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
Nice job out there by McKinnon, who is a very good receiving back coming out of the backfield. He is a guy that definitely has the ability, 15 catches on the year coming into the game, but he is probably the best of their receiving backs, even over Adrian Peterson when he's in there.
Jerry and Gene Jones, another nail biter. They've seen a few in the years they've owned this team. 2nd and 5. 4-man rush. Caught close to a 1st down. Patterson at the 11-yard line. Clock keeps on running. They're out of timeouts. See where they spot it, where they put it down. Putting it at the 11, and that's a 1st down. 60 seconds from the 11 on 1st down. Bradford throws, that's caught, and then popped at the 6.5 is Stephon Diggs by Barry Church. 2nd down. They can't get a 1st down without getting the touchdown here. Taking a lot of time here. 40 seconds. Down under 35 when they get it snapped. Cowboys jump, got a free play here. Tipped in the air and incomplete.
And it's going to stop the clock.
That does. 30 seconds. So it was
offside. Defense number 58 in the neutral zone at the snap. This penalty be assessed half the distance to a goal and repeat 2nd down.
I said they repeat 2nd down now, making it 2nd down with 30 seconds.
We had 2 out-of-pocket plays by Sam Bradford. This one, the one to the right, one to the left, and that's really what jump-started this whole drive. This would be a remarkable final drive if they could pull this off.
Dallas, they're first.
All right, so Dallas takes the time. Now the clock was stopped anyway. And it will be 2nd down and 2.
Sam Bradford not really known for being that mobile a quarterback, but he scrambled left and hit Thielen down the boundary. Nice catch there. Got a few passes out to McKinnon, then scrambles right. Gets that one to Diggs and just sort of methodically marched their way down the field without timeouts. just have to be, I'd be really tempted here to give a little help to TJ Clemmings on the left side, because that has been the problem area as far as protection here. They go empty backfield, no help for anybody.
2nd and 2, they spread them out, 3-man rush, caught, and into the end zone goes McKinnon with 25 seconds. And now obviously the 2-point conversion coming to try to tie the game and maybe send it into overtime.
Once McKinnon got to the outside and Sam Bradford saw the one-on-one coverage against a linebacker, just a little in and back out, no problem. Wonder if you come right back to it again.
So they go 65 yards, 8 plays, 1 run, 7 passes, and this to tie the game. And you've got the Dallas Cowboys coming across the line, but were they induced is the question.
I think so.
Yep. Searles and Crawford.
Start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty and replay the try.
Jeremiah Searles, the right tackle.
Searles definitely moved first. There may have been a little movement, but unless you cross that line, it just doesn't matter.
So now you've got from the 7-yard line, they flex the tight end Rudolph all the way to the left. 3 receivers to the right. Bradford looks over the middle, and whoa, where was that? 10 feet high. Not even close to keep it at 17-15, and obviously they'll try an onside kick, and if Dallas recovers, that'll end that.
Let's see if Sam Bradford gets hit on the head at the end of this play. He's going to get his arm hit. There's a blow to the helmet. Easily could have been called, should have been called. A blow to the helmet of a quarterback. Definitely enough force. We've seen those called, and Sam Bradford begging for it. Tony Corrente did not see it. He said, no, it was to the shoulder pad. It was not.
Not at all. That was Cedric Thornton getting away with it. So Corrente, from his angle, sees the shoulder pad, doesn't see the face mask as we see, and they get away with it.
Isn't that amazing? The arm that was on the shoulder pad basically blocked the arm that was on the face mask from the view of Corrente, who was back off to the quarterback's right.
And we know a lot of you join us late, so Mike Zimmer underwent emergency eye surgery. Not here, has to be at home. Prefer is the interim head coach, and now the onside kick will determine whether this game will go on or not. And Witten hasn't caught a ball tonight, but he makes the catch there. So the streak will be over, but the Dallas Cowboys are going to be on their way to another win. Hey, I just want to quickly acknowledge Grant Tinker passing at the age of 90. He was so instrumental in building NBC into a tremendous network during his tenure. A beloved man by everybody who worked for him, and all of his pals, and our sympathies to the Grant Tinker family. He was a special human being.
I got a chance to meet him thanks to you. It was great.
He was something else. So the Dallas Cowboys will get the weekend off. Their next game is a week from Sunday night against the Giants on Sunday Night Football. So we will be there for that one. They'll go in there 11-1. The Giants are 8-3. They have Pittsburgh coming up on Sunday to try to keep pace with them. Their only loss this season for the Cowboys was to the Giants by 1 point on opening day. So we'll find out about Mike Zimmer. Minnesota's next game is a week from Sunday. They go to Jacksonville. Whether Mike can make it or not, we don't know. Bradford trying to lead that comeback, comes up short, but coming up next, the Volkswagen post-game report. Thursday Night Football presented by Bud Light.